What's up, my friends? So we're talking about some things going on in the United States Army right now. If you are not aware, typically to get promoted from let's say a specialist to a sergeant in the United States Army, or even a sergeant to a staff sergeant, so on and so forth, you usually have to go to do a number of processes. You have to go through the board, you have to make points, but you also have to accomplish graduating an NCO Academy. And for the last 3 years now, that has not always been a requirement. There's an Army Times article that came out recently saying that the Army backtracks, renews temporary NCO promotions for a third year. Basically is what that means, right? Is that an individual soldier that wants to get promoted to a non-commissioned officer doesn't have to go to that non-commissioned officer school in order to get promoted. So let's explain that a little bit more. In the article, it's kind of breaking it down a little bit, talking about the temporary promotions that, this began late in 2021, right? They extended this and then they extended it till 2022 and then to 2023 or whatever the case was. But nonetheless, we're now in the third consecutive year. And it's even talking about the temporary promotions that began in late 2021 after Human Resources Command realized that Master Leader course slots, a requirement to promote to Master Sergeant, were incorrectly issued to senior soldiers rather than higher rated ones. So that kind of trickled down to, they kind of just did it for all NCOs, whether you're going from E4 to E5, E5 to E6, whatever, they kind of just made it to where, okay, we'll allow you to get promoted, to the next rank, to NCO, without having to graduate that school. And it's not like permanent. It was just kind of temporary. They had like 365 days, so that way they had a little bit more time. And there's a lot of reasons they've done this. They've actually done this in the past. I remember when I was in, they even had something kind of similar to this. Because this memo that the Army Times has acquired from Reddit and everything that got leaked or whatever, basically, was talking about how the General Douglas Stitt has rescinded a September memorandum that would have ended across the board temporary promotions for active duty troops on January 1st. So they already had this in effect for 2023, and that would have ended on January 1st, where it would make it to go back to the way it was, where if you wanted to get promoted to that NCO spot, you had to, of course, go to the board, make points, but also had to have already graduated that NCO Academy before they would make you a sergeant, staff sergeant, whatever the case was. Am I saying whatever the case was? The thing is, they've now extended that. So even back in 2023, you had 365 days. And even in this article is talking about it here, where, otherwise eligible troops will advance to higher grade and then have 365 days to complete their next educational milestone. So that would mean that if you pass the board, you made points, then you can get promoted to, let's say for this example, going from specialist to sergeant, but you have 365 days to be able to attend what would be the basic leaders course, the BLC, the non-commissioned officer course for a sergeant. You have to attend that and pass it. They did this in the past because there was a lot of, individuals that were not able to go to these schools because of like deployments and all sorts of other things that were going on. So, it was holding people back from getting promoted. I think now it's because they're backlogged on slots, on classes. I'm not sure what the full extent of it is, but because of, these problems, they want to allow soldiers to still be able to advance and not be held up for things that are outside of their abilities. I think that even talks about it in this article, where it's kind of talking about, outside of their abilities, they don't want to hold people up. Yeah, here it's talking about where I think Sergeant Major of the Army, Weimer, was talking about, our goal is to ensure our soldiers' careers do not suffer from factors outside of their control. So, they can't control if they can get a slot or not, right? That's going to be based on availability. And this is allowing those soldiers to still advance. So if you're someone in this position, you might have the opportunity to be able to still get promoted. You probably already had that opportunity in 2023, but that will continue in 2024 as they are extending that into 2024. So again, out to December 31st, 2024, that'll be a thing where, if you have the points, you've met the board, you can't quite get a slot for, whatever NCO Academy you need, then you can still get promoted, but you will need to make sure that you graduate that NCO Academy that you need within a 365-day window. Otherwise, they can't take it back. I've seen that before. Like, that was how it was like back in my early days of the Army. They had like a backlog of NCO Academies, so they're allowing people to get promoted without the NCO Academy. And I actually saw a guy that, he went and he got promoted to E5, got promoted to sergeant. he went off to the NCO Academy and failed. And I think they gave him maybe another shot, and maybe he tried again. And I think he couldn't go or something like that. For what the problem was, but he ended up having to get put back as an E4 because he couldn't meet the requirements. But this allows the soldiers to not get held back because of schools being backlogged, being so busy with deployments or training or whatever that they can't attend these NCO academies within a reasonable amount of time. Allows them to get that experience, become an NCO, get better pay, and then hopefully go to that NCO academy within that window. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that that's the way it just should always be, or no, we need to eventually get back to the point of soldiers need to pass these NCO academies before they get promoted? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below. If you guys like this type of content, make sure you're liking it, share it with someone that may find this necessary. Maybe they're trying to get promoted and they want to know, hey, am I going to be able to go to this NCO Academy? Do I need to get that NCO Academy knocked out before I can get promoted? Share it with them. Make sure you're subscribed. I hit my hand on the table. We're okay. I'm Christopher Chaos. I'll see you next time. See ya.